Now let's move on to one of the most important parts of an incubator, humidity control. For a long time, I used ultrasonic mist makers to generate humidity inside the incubator. However, after years of testing and real-world experience, I no longer recommend using them. Let me explain why. First of all, ultrasonic humidifiers have a fairly high failure rate. They work by vibrating a ceramic disc, also known as a piezoelectric transducer, at an extremely high frequency, around 1.7 million vibrations per second. These vibrations break the water into tiny droplets, creating the visible mist. The problem is that ordinary water contains minerals, such as calcium, lime, and other impurities. As the water evaporates, those minerals remain behind and gradually build up on the surface of the piezo element. Over time, this mineral buildup reduces the efficiency of the transducer until it eventually stops working or burns out. You might think distilled water solves the problem. While it certainly helps, using distilled water continuously becomes expensive and simply isn't practical for most incubators. Even boiled water still contains dissolved minerals, so it doesn't completely eliminate the issue. With normal tap water, an ultrasonic humidifier may fail after a relatively short period of use. Even if you improve the water quality, its lifespan is still limited. For me, the maintenance cost and replacement frequency simply aren't worth it.
There's another reason I avoid ultrasonic humidifiers. Do some research and you'll find that excessive mist can settle directly on the eggshells. When too much moisture accumulates on the shell, it may block some of the microscopic pores that allow the embryo to exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide. That can negatively affect hatchability, and in some cases, may even cause embryo loss. Because of these reasons, I no longer use ultrasonic humidifiers in my incubators. Everything I'm showing you here comes from more than 3 years of testing, trial and error, and continuous improvements. For example, I also learned an important lesson about humidity sensors. At first, I used the DHT sensor, but I don't recommend it anymore. Its readings weren't stable enough, and the overall performance of the incubator wasn't as accurate as I wanted. After switching to the SHT-20 temperature and humidity sensor, the accuracy improved significantly, and the incubator's performance became much more reliable. So if you're building your own incubator, I strongly recommend using the SHT-20 sensor instead of a DHT sensor. Now let me show you the humidity control system that I actually recommend. Instead of an ultrasonic humidifier, all you need is a water container and a standard float valve, like the ones commonly used in evaporative coolers. The container can be a basin, tray, or any suitable water reservoir that fits inside your incubator. Simply drill a hole, install the float valve, tighten it in place, and connect a water hose. That's it.
You can connect the hose either to a small water tank or to another clean water reservoir. Personally, I recommend using a 10 or 20-liter water container instead of connecting it directly to your home's water supply. Why? Because if the float valve ever fails while it's connected directly to the plumbing, water could continue flowing into the incubator without stopping. That could flood the entire system. Using a separate water container limits the maximum amount of water available and makes the system much safer. A 10-liter container is usually more than enough and may only need to be refilled once every several days, depending on your incubator's operating conditions. One more important point. The water container should be placed higher than the incubator. In my setup, I positioned it about half a meter above the incubator. This height allows gravity to feed water naturally into the float valve. If the container is placed at the same level or lower than the incubator, the water won't flow properly. So always mount the water reservoir at least 50 centimeters above the incubator to ensure a reliable water supply.
Now let's connect the water supply. To do that, you'll need a standard hose fitting. These fittings are inexpensive and available at almost any hardware or plumbing store. Drill a hole in the side of your water container, install the fitting, and place the rubber washers on both sides to create a watertight seal. Then tighten the fitting securely. After that, simply connect the water hose to the fitting. As I mentioned earlier, make sure the water reservoir is mounted higher than the incubator so gravity can feed water into the float valve automatically. Now let's talk about the fans. If you've already watched the programming lesson, you probably remember that these fans are connected to Arduino pin 19. If you haven't seen that lesson yet,
Don't worry, I've uploaded a separate programming tutorial that explains the complete code in detail. For humidity control, I strongly recommend installing two 12cm 12-volt cooling fans. Make sure both fans blow air directly across the surface of the water. Why two fans? Because together they perform several important functions at the same time. First, they generate humidity naturally.
Instead of producing mist, they simply blow air across the water surface. Just like an evaporative cooler, the moving air picks up moisture from the water and distributes it evenly throughout the incubator. Second, they continuously circulate the air inside the incubator. Good air circulation keeps both the temperature and humidity uniform in every part of the cabinet. Third, they help keep the air cleaner. Dust and small airborne particles tend to settle into the water instead of remaining suspended inside the incubator. So these fans don't just control humidity, they also improve overall air quality. Another advantage of this method is that it doesn't create the excessive moisture associated with ultrasonic humidifiers. If you've ever used an ultrasonic humidifier inside a metal incubator, you've probably noticed corrosion or rust forming on exposed metal parts after some time. With this airflow-based system, that problem is greatly reduced. The incubator stays cleaner, drier, and much more reliable over the long term. For the fans, I recommend using 12-volt fans with dimensions of 120 by 120 millimeters. Install two of them so both fans direct airflow over the water surface. In my setup, the water tray sits underneath the fans, while the water reservoir remains above the incubator to maintain a constant water level. As you can see, both fans are running continuously and blowing air across the water.
To achieve the best performance, position them so the airflow is evenly distributed across the entire surface of the water. This allows the humidity to rise efficiently while also improving air circulation throughout the incubator. Now let's see how the automatic humidity control works. If I lower the humidity set point, you'll notice that the fans turn off. Here, the ambient humidity is already around 69%, and the controller is also set to 69%. Since the measured humidity has reached the target value, the fans stop automatically. As the humidity gradually drops, once it reaches 68%, the controller turns the fans back on. The fans immediately begin blowing air across the water, causing the humidity to rise again. Within a short time, the humidity returns to 69%, and the controller switches the fans off once more. This simple process keeps the humidity remarkably stable without the need for any ultrasonic humidifier.
There's one more thing I'd like to explain about the fan control. In my program, I've intentionally configured the humidity fans to switch on and off automatically whenever necessary. Don't worry, this frequent switching won't damage the fans. They're standard 12-volt DC cooling fans, designed to operate continuously for long periods. Their power consumption is extremely low, so even if they run all day, they use very little electricity. The reason I programmed them this way is simple. First, it keeps the humidity level extremely stable. Second, every time the fans run, they circulate fresh air throughout the incubator. This continuous airflow helps maintain a uniform environment for all of the eggs. Instead of allowing the humidity to fluctuate significantly, the controller keeps it within a very small range. For example, if your target humidity is 60%, the fans may switch on when it drops slightly below that value and switch off once it reaches the set point again. This keeps the humidity almost constant, with only a very small variation. Now let's talk about another fan that I highly recommend. Install an additional 12-volt fan at the bottom of the incubator and let it run continuously. This fan doesn't need to be controlled by the Arduino. Simply connect it directly to a 12-volt power supply so it operates all the time. Its only purpose is to circulate the warm air near the bottom of the incubator. Since the heating lamps are located in the lower section, heat naturally accumulates there. Without proper airflow, the lower area may become hotter than the upper section. That temperature difference can reduce incubation performance. To solve this problem, I also recommend installing a metal heat shield above the heating lamps. A simple sheet of galvanized steel or thin metal works perfectly. This shield prevents the eggs from being exposed to direct radiant heat.
Instead of heating the eggs directly, the shield spreads the heat more evenly throughout the incubator. When combined with the circulation fans, the warm air is distributed uniformly across the entire chamber. As a result, the temperature remains much more consistent from top to bottom. This combination of controlled humidity, continuous airflow, and even heat distribution creates an excellent environment for successful incubation. Finally, I'd like to mention one last detail.
Since we're generating humidity by blowing air across the water surface, don't make your ventilation openings larger than necessary. If the air outlets are too large, moisture will escape too quickly, making it difficult to maintain the desired humidity level. In my incubator, I use adjustable air vents so I can control how much air leaves the cabinet. This allows me to keep fresh air flowing while minimizing unnecessary humidity loss. Keeping the exhaust openings reasonably small makes humidity control much easier and more stable. So instead of using an ultrasonic humidifier, I strongly recommend this airflow-based humidity system. It's simple, inexpensive, reliable, requires very little maintenance, and has produced excellent results in my own incubators over several years of testing. I hope you found this lesson helpful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.